Hi, my name is Teri Delane. I am the Executive Director of Life Learning Academy, and I am here to give you a little overview of who we are and what we do. And it has become very clear. It's always been clear to me because of our our philosophy and the way that we help our kids, that what we do really works. And it really became more clear during this pandemic. Because when we're talking about students, because we are a high school, we are a charter school, it's really important to understand that most of the kids that we get are kids that have been kicked out of school or bullied or just kind of given up on school. And when we talk about change for students, it's really looking at the whole picture, the connections that they make, the ability to feel connected as a community to other students and to adults. And how we've managed to do what we do through distance learning and really make that our model, because the model has to do with really taking every student and giving them what they need in their lives to change. So when we talk about change, we talk about how the teachers are in our school are able to really help them learn how to make learning fun, number one, to take each kid individually and help them, which we not only do in person, but we do through distance learning as well, through one-on-one contact with every student. Our students come to us in situations that are really difficult. Family lives, where they're living, mostly in neighborhoods where there's lots of violence. Many of our students have violence in their families. And honestly, I sometimes don't know how they made it to school to begin with. But because they come and they walk through the door and they feel cared about right away, we care about them through every single thing we do, because academics isn't just the first thing that we do and the only thing we do. The end goal is not just to get them a high school diploma. The end goal is to have every kid, by the time they graduate, either in college, have a job, because we have a wonderful workforce program that really teaches them how to work, how to keep a job, how to get people that you're working for in our internship program to write you letters of recommendations, to the food that we prepare and teach our kids to cook. We are, in every sense of the word, a community. Every child that comes through our school understands that whatever it is that they need, we're going to make it happen. So for 21 years, and first of all, let me just back up real quickly. I am somebody that never has forgotten where I come from. I am a person that had a drug addicted, alcohol addicted, violent family growing up. I myself was using drugs at age 14. I had a needle in my arm till age 20. The reason why I changed is because I was able to get brought from Las Vegas to San Francisco to the Delancey Street Foundation, where I changed my life. And I learned about family, and I learned about community, and I understand what being a good neighbor means. And I understand that giving back is part of our process. That it isn't just for you all, our students, to come and get for themselves, but it is our hope that in the long run, they will go back into their communities and pull other young people that feel disconnected and lost and hopeless. The thing that we did recently in the past year, because it has become determined, every year we sit together and say what's working, what isn't working. And it became clear to us that, not just clear, but it was just so difficult to continue to come to work every day and know that we have kids in our school that don't have a safe place to live. And so we went on a mission. And the mission was to build a dorm right behind our school on Treasure Island to this beautiful, we're in a very kind of neutral area in Treasure Island. We've never had a fight in our school in 20 plus years. And we built this beautiful dorm, and we've been up and operating now for about close to a year. Pre-pandemic, we had just gotten about 7 of our students living in the dorm. Sunny, for example, is a student that is now trying to go into foster care. She's had no family. The family that she has had, because she was a runaway and ended up in a shelter before she came to us, dropping out of school, fighting all the time, and not believing in change. She came to Life Learning Academy and she thrived. She changed. She kept running away from home. We got her to be able to live in the dorm where she's been for 8 months. And 7 other students with similar stories who have come into the dorm right behind the school. They get up in the morning, well, they were before the pandemic. Now we all kind of work together and do the homework together. There's 7 of them. They're not isolated by themselves in their room with none of their peers around. They cook their meals together. We eat together. We have a beautiful garden right in the back that has all organic vegetables, which is part of Life Learning Academy. So if you think about a circle around every student, about any and all things that they need to be able to change, you will picture Life Learning Academy, housing, academics, workforce, having strong teachers and staff around that actually notice when they're kind of out of sorts, being able to talk to them if they need to talk, providing what I will say, I call it radical love, which is teaching them about responsibility and accountability and giving them hope that they can really do whatever they want to do in their lives. And I understand that personally by the message which says, everyone in my circle, unfortunately for me, my circle is not blood. It's actually fortunate, I should say, because I've been lucky enough to have a strong circle throughout my many years of people that have always just been there. It is the one thing that the research says that if teenagers have 1 to 2 adults in their lives that they can rely on, that they can connect to, that they can believe in, then they can change. And, you know, it's a lot to be able to say it. It's amazing to see, to look at our dorm, to see our school, to taste our food, which we always have people come. We have a wonderful chef, and feel family and feel a community. And that's what we've been doing for 21 years. And I think I'll stop right there. And I think Craig Miller is going to pick up. And then I think we'll take questions after that. after Jamal and Craig.
Hello, everybody. Can you see me? Good morning. My name is Craig Miller. I am the Chief Operating Officer at Life Learning Academy, and along with Teri, one of the founders. And I manage our development teams, our financial teams, our growth work, and I serve as the liaison to the LLA Board of Directors and SFUSD. And let me just pick up a little bit where Teri left off, which is talking about who we are. And I want to talk a little bit about our history and our growth and our outcomes, how successful we've been. And I'm going to start at the very beginning in our origin story. And our origin story starts about 20 years ago. So Life Learning is a charter high school authorized by San Francisco Unified School District serving 60 kids. And 20 years ago, Mayor Willie Brown hired the Delancey Street Foundation to do an overhaul of the juvenile justice system in San Francisco. And this was partly in response to an overcrowded and outdated juvenile hall. And Teri and I were part of a team that was tasked with designing a model juvenile justice system. And the process we went through to design that system is something I like to talk about for a minute, because it speaks to the role that community and partnerships and collaboration played not only in how Life Learning started, but in our ongoing success for the last 20 years. And what we did was we conducted as part of a needs assessment, we conducted a one-day snapshot of all the youth at the time on that day who were locked in secure detention in juvenile hall. And there were about 200 kids at the time locked up. And we went and did kind of in-depth studies of their lives and looked at their school records and their health records and their probation records. And we created profiles and narratives for each kid in the hall. And then we convened in one big room, and it was a very large room, key folks from the entire San Francisco youth serving community, including the public defender, the DA, folks from the school district, judges, other law enforcement, human services, staff, community providers, mental health professionals, and formerly incarcerated adults. And in this room, we went through each young person's story one by one and really had a lively debate about, in a world where you weren't constrained by the resources that were in place at the time, but instead imagined a world of unlimited resources, what was possible? And for each kid, we asked ourselves two questions. On that day when they were locked up, could they be in the community if other things were in place? And two, where in their life story, if there had been different interventions, could we have prevented deeper involvement in the juvenile justice system? And I'm telling you this story because it was this collaborative exercise and what emerged out of it that became the blueprint for a model juvenile justice system in San Francisco, which was named the Local Action Plan. And how it connects to Life Learning Academy is one of the key recommendations that came out of the plan was a lot of kids who were locked up at the time, if there was a new school that had an extended day, that had a project-based instructional model, that had extensive workforce training, and really a philosophy rooted in Delancey Street of accountability and support, that program could serve a lot of the kids who at the time were locked up. And that was in 1997, and a year later in 1998, we opened Life Learning Academy. And so for the last 20 years, as you could hear from Teri's talk, we've continued to serve the highest needs students in San Francisco and the Bay Area. Most of them have been out of school for a very long time before they come to us. They've experienced trauma, family instability, extreme poverty and substance abuse. That's our founding story, but it doesn't end there. We are an organization that's committed to continuous learning and growth. And we've been doing that since the school opened in 1998. And in front of you, I put a timeline of kind of major milestones in the history of Life Learning Academy, not for you to have to read all the fine print, but to demonstrate that regularly we go through a process of, as Teri said, looking at the needs of our students, listening to our students, and then identifying programs and interventions to help them overcome whatever barriers are in their lives. And when there are big ideas that we want to tackle, like providing no-cost housing to homeless and unstably housed youth, and when we know there's going to be a very heavy lift to get that done, we engage in regular strategic planning to give us a roadmap to success. And so part of the DNA of this organization is never to sit still. We were founded out of this collaborative moment in San Francisco where everyone got together and said, this is what we need. And we continue to reach back to that approach regularly to figure out what's next. And just some examples. In 2005, we wanted to address the overwhelming youth violence that was in our communities. And so we did a school-wide nonviolence initiative that really focused on building youth leadership. In 2007, we instituted a community internship program so that our kids had meaningful work opportunities and adult mentors in the workplace. In 2009, we started a digital technologies training program to develop students' skills and marketability in the tech sector. And in 2010, we developed a summer employment program. So over the summer, when most kids were then going to be, missing school and the structure that Life Learning provides, we wanted to fill that void. And so we developed paid summer employment opportunities for all of our students to carry them through the summer months and keep them connected to Life Learning Academy. And then, as Teri mentioned, in 2017, we launched the initiative called LLA Build to address youth homelessness and housing instability that we were seeing in our population. Next slide, please. So in 2019, as Teri mentioned, we opened the first of its kind, which is a no-fee housing attached to a public school with a capacity for 24 students. We are not a large organization, and so this was a major undertaking for us. And as you can see from the slide, from our ribbon cutting event, we didn't do it alone. We had lots and lots of help. Building and operating the dorm only happened because of our long-standing partnership with the city of San Francisco that started in that original needs assessment we did to develop a model juvenile justice system. And key players in us being able to be around for the last 20 years and then open up housing where the late Mayor Ed Lee, former Mayor Willie Brown, and very importantly, our current San Francisco Mayor London Breed, who really found this project to be something that the city needed to serve youth. It really connected with her life story, and so this dorm was able to open when the city really, at the urging of Mayor Breed, provided 50% of the operating funds to open the dorm. That, along with support from Tipping Point Community, Battery Powered, and many other foundations and individuals, made this dorm possible. And again, I bring that up to say that it takes all of these entities, to not only provide the resources necessary to run our school program, but on top of that, then to be able to offer no-cost housing at the same time. And it really is our commitment to continuous learning, which is grounded in formal evaluation, and an organizational comfort with trying new things that has led to a model that every year adapts, addresses barriers, and helps students succeed with whatever they need. Next slide, please. So, you know, life learning has continued to thrive and grow as a result of the resources that we've been provided with by the City of San Francisco and our foundation partners. And this 20-year commitment has really only been possible because we have proven results and we are committed to evaluation. Our commitment to ongoing evaluation starts with hiring of an independent evaluation firm to document the efficacy of the LLA model. We track student performance, academic performance, we track juvenile justice outcomes, we track graduation outcomes, and we survey our students each year to hear directly from them about what's working and not working. And you can see from the slide in front of you, we have some very good results, one of which Teri already mentioned. In 22 years of running our school, we have never had an act of violence. Remarkable record, and I would challenge any other high school in the country to have a similar data point. Our students graduate in 1819, 92% of our kids graduated. Almost all of our kids work when they graduate. 82% of our kids, the graduating class of 1819, had a job at graduation. Our kids come to school more. Our kids come to school 22 more days in their first semester at Life Learning than their prior semester before they came to us. And again, recidivism is extremely low. These indicators, which you see on the screen now, are one-year indicators for the most part, but they've held consistent each year, year after year, for the last 20 years. Next slide, please. Additionally, and most recently, we've started conducting longitudinal studies at our graduates at 1 and 3 and 5 year intervals after graduation. We don't have a lot of data yet. We only have data on 2 graduating classes from 2017 and 2018. And though this sample size is small, as you can see, these initial results are very, very good. 100% of our youth reported that their current living situation was safe and stable. 80% of our youth are working or had a job. So very, very, very good early results. Next slide, please. So that's the results, that's the data, that's the history. Now we'd like to give you a chance to hear directly from some of our graduates. So give us a minute, we're gonna queue up a short video. And after the video, Jamal Fields, our Chief Academic Officer, will share more about our programs and services. Thank you.
I am part of the class of 2008.
Hi, my name is Sarah Murphy, class of 2008.
Hi everyone, my name is Anthony Faddis, class of 2002.
Hello, my name is Nikki Brickhouse. I am class of 2007.
Hi, my name is Efren Delo, and I'm an alumni at Life Learning Academy, class of 2018.
My name is Jessica Castro, and I am class of 2007.
With food donuts at Life Learning Academy, they fed us like kings and queens over there.
It's the teriyaki sticks. We used to do like the shish kebab with the chicken and everything.
Well, that's tough because I miss everything. I miss preparing, cooking, and eating the food with my classmates and peers. I had never really had that experience, and now that I'm thinking about it, I had a dining table at home, but my mom and I never really sat down and had dinner together properly. So to have another space to actually do that, to have more of a, it felt like I said, it was a family. So to have that family setting and to just break bread with people was something that I really, really missed.
The birthday cakes by far are the food that I miss the most. A lot of us didn't have a birthday cake growing up. So doing something like this, we took a lot of pride in. We do take a lot of pride in. Still to this day, we recognize everybody's birthdays, enjoyed alongside our friends. Who doesn't love cake?
Before I went to Life Learning Academy, I was very lost. I had a lot of anger issues, and I was dealing with a lot of chaos and abuse in my house.
Prior to coming to Life Learning Academy, I essentially gave up on life. I dropped out of my high school. I was experiencing a lot of problems within my home.
Before I went to Life Learning, I felt very lost and unmotivated.
Before I went to LLA, I was bound to drop out, honestly. It was the 5th school that I was going to be attending, and I was only a freshman. So I was really, headed down a path for destruction and not really having education be a part of my story.
For Life Learning Academy, I was involved in gangs, drugs, the streets, guns, you name it, it was there. Just a negative lifestyle to live. But while I was at Life Learning Academy, I learned to change the way I think. I learned to change the way I live. I learned to change the way I treat others.
But once I arrived to Life Learning Academy, the first week I had a very quick reality check that this was going to be different, that I wasn't going to get away with the things that I was getting away with in middle school. And that, believe it or not, this was going to actually be a very safe space where I was going to be allowed to be myself and be vulnerable and to speak up about things.
And coming here gave me a complete new chance at life. I gained a group of peers that accepted and supported me along the way. I gained new interest and confidence in my academics again. I gained a group of people that really cared and supported me, and that group of people became my family.
At LLA, I learned that if you work hard enough and you're consistent, you could change your life for the better.
But at LLA, I stepped into a whole nother world. I found a community there. I found adults that cared about me, that had high expectations for me and held me accountable. I found peers that I could learn with and learn from and just have fun and be a kid. So LLA completely changed my life. And I wouldn't have finished school if I didn't end up going there.
I would say what I'm most proud of the fact that I didn't fall through the cracks. I didn't, a lot of people wrote me off early. I wasn't a very motivated kid. I was a kid that was on the teeters of getting into a lot of trouble. And, a lot of people wrote me off. A lot of people didn't believe that I could be anything productive in society, that I'd be paying debts to society for years to come. And I'm most proud of the fact that I was able to, quash that trend.
The things that I'm proud of today is that I'm no longer a part of any of the streets, any of that life. I've grown up a lot. I have 4 beautiful children, and I love them to death. And if that's anything I'm proud of my kids and the way I'm raising them to live in this society.
I recently completed my master's in education, and I'm really proud of that for 2 reasons. One being that I'm the first in my family to go to university to get a bachelor's degree. So to continue on into higher education, graduate education, I'm really proud of that, and I hope to inspire my nieces and nephews, my cousins to continue and apply themselves to education because it's totally doable. And I'm also proud of it because of the access that it allows me to step into the education field and hopefully create more spaces like LLA.
Advice I have for the current students is that school is meant for you and is meant for your future. Do not take that for granted.
I would say the advice I would give students today is be patient, be humble, and most importantly, listen, because the lessons that you get from this school, it is called Life Learning Academy after all, will be carried with you for the rest of your life.
My advice for current students would be to really lean into everything that LLA has to offer. It's so amazing, opportunities, to learn gardening, to work in the bike shop, to sail, to art and photography. I might have already said that, but just so many different things that I wouldn't have had access to myself, LLA offered. So for students that go there, I would just say to lean in, to take advantage of everything, to give everything a try. You never know what you might be interested in, and you never know what might come around later. Things that I learned at LLA that were just a part of my experience came in handy later.
You might not feel your strongest and your most powerful right now, but when you let that out and you speak up about what's going on with you mentally and emotionally, you are allowing others to also take control of their lives and to speak up. And that to me is a form of leadership.
Don't give up on your dreams. Don't let nobody tell you you can't. Your life is so precious that it's worth so much more. It's actually priceless. Always surround yourself around positive people, because if you do that, you'll do positive things in your life and make the right choices.
All right. My name is Jamal Fields. I'm the Chief Academic Officer, and I also get the privilege of teaching a few classes at Life Learning Academy. I mean, it would be really hard not to be proud of our alumni. As you can see, they're amazing people. They're living great lives. They're contributing to society and building strong families of their own. And we're very proud of all that they've accomplished and feel like they're the best representation of what we're trying to do. But I want to tell you a little bit about what we do at LLA to help support our students as they break the barriers that are holding them back in their lives. In terms of academics, our academics are combined with vocational and life skills. We think it's really important. We want our students to be able to answer the question of why am I learning this really clearly and easily. We offer an integrated curriculum that combines traditional academics, English language arts, social studies, math, science, with hands-on project-based experiential learning in real-world settings that can let our students apply what they're learning as they're learning it. Everything from our culinary program that you heard about, our students talking about, where students learn not only to cook, but also they learn the math they need to adapt recipes for large groups, and writing when they are creating menus and sharing nutritional information with their peers. It's about in our garden program, where students learn the scientific method as they're watching plants grow and planting things and seeing them grow in our garden, where they're doing data collection and learning how to design testable hypotheses in the garden. Or it's in our social studies classes where they learn about history. Last year, some students learned about the Port Chicago massacre, and then they worked with our partner at the Treasure Island Museum to learn how to develop museum exhibits, telling the stories about what they've learned. In all those ways, we try and make sure that it's experiential and it's integrated into real world settings and things that they actually need to learn about. As Teri mentioned, we have a very strong workforce development program, which includes a job success curriculum that we teach in the classroom. We do things like resume building, mock interviews, job search resources, and we have a tiered internship program where we don't just send students out into the job world, we prepare them for it. First with an internship on campus in a non-paid work experience. And then as we build the skills, we really want them to not only learn how to get a job, how to keep a job, how to advance in a job, and then what to do, how to spend your money wisely. So it includes a financial literacy component. We also have some CTE pathways. With our culinary arts program, they take a series of classes. They come out with a safe food handler certificate and the skills that they would need to be successful in a commercial kitchen or maybe doing some sort of an entrepreneurial food endeavor. Our carpentry program, which is something I get to teach, is awesome. Our students take a series of 3 courses. They learn math for the trades, of all the math they need to be successful on a job site and in the trades. They take a basic shop class where they learn about the tools that they will use in carpentry on a job site and how to safely and efficiently use them and be successful in building some things. And then an internship where they actually build a major project around the school. This year, if we get back into in person, we're going to be building a greenhouse that was destroyed last year in a winter storm. They've built stages, they've done put in the flooring in the school and all kinds of things like that. And it's a really important thing. And if at the end of this program, our students get priority access into the Northern California Carpenters Union pre-apprenticeship program, which gets them on the job roles for living wage jobs here in the Bay Area as an 18-year-old. It's really a pretty amazing thing, and it's something that's really easy to motivate kids to participate in that as they see the light at the end of the tunnel and they see what the payoff will be. It's really clear to them right away what the payoff will be. As Craig and Teri both mentioned, it's not enough for our students to just graduate with a high school diploma. Many of them come to us and say, yeah, I want to get a high school diploma. And we think that's great, but it's really about making sure that they have a plan for after that high school diploma. And so we have a really robust college and transition counseling program. Includes concurrent enrollment. All our juniors and seniors have the opportunities to take classes at the community college level. And we want them to not just take the class, but as something Sarah said in the video, we want to build their interest and confidence in their academic pursuits. And that's really what happens. We don't just sign them up for a college class and let them go. We show them how to get there. We talk to them about being on time. What bus do you need to take to get to a 3 o'clock class on time at the community college? We talk to them about how to communicate with their professors, how to have good time management skills, and how to organize themselves so that they don't miss assignments and that they have time to complete all those things that they need to complete. It's really everything that any successful college student needs, but our students have not traditionally had that access. It's, you know, kids that complete college successfully, it's not because they were just born smart. Our kids are. But they also need some supports to make sure that they know how to get there and that they feel confident and that they're able to take on those challenges. You know, our counseling encourages, of course, things like FAFSA and college application support. It also includes scholarship applications and things like that to make sure that when they do get into college, they're ready, they're confident about their abilities to be successful, and they're going to have the financial resources needed to cover it. And that's a really important thing for our students to be successful in their college and post-secondary planning. Now, everyone in the world has been dealing with this pandemic, and in the spring, when everything happened, we scrambled, rallied our staff together and tried to figure out what our students needed to be successful in this new distance learning program. And it was, you know, home delivery of resources was very important. It wasn't just laptops. Yes, we gave every student a laptop, but then we also realized we need to get them a MiFi spot so they had internet access. And that's not it, you know. Sometimes, so we'd give a kid a laptop and they wouldn't show up for a class, and we'd say, well, what happened? And they'd say, oh, my younger brother or sister needed the computer to do their schooling. And, you know, we're Life Learning Academy. We don't just say, oh, tough, get it back, take it back from your third grade sister. We got them another laptop and made sure that they had what they needed so they didn't have to make those kinds of choices and that they could be successful working from home. You know, the other thing that we did that we really liked, we wanted to provide food for our students, but not just a prepackaged meal in a can or something that goes home, but we gave them kits. Meal kits where they were able to create a dinner meal for their entire family. And it had all of the ingredients and utensils and tools that they needed to be successful in cooking that meal, and then a video to teach them how to do it and show them how to do it. It was a really amazing program. We got a lot of really good feedback from our families and students that they enjoyed doing that for their families. But another thing is distance learning is not for everybody. I struggle to do Zooms every day like many of you. I'm sure right now I'm talking into the void of space with no feedback, and it's kind of difficult to do a presentation like that. And likewise for our students, some of them struggled with participating in online learning. But we were able to create a situation where our students get one-on-one instructional support for every class. So every teacher has an hour of dedicated time one-on-one with each student in each of their classes. And it's really been an amazing thing. We talk about silver linings. This is one of them. We found that, you know, we were really struggling to try and find how do we keep those connections that our teachers have with students when we can meet in person through a Zoom platform. And through these one-on-one instructional support sessions, it's really has fulfilled that role. And for some of our students, it's actually been more successful in terms of academics because they've gotten that really strong, robust support one-on-one with a teacher who can explain any concepts that were difficult and really just keep talking to them and developing those relationships that we know were critical to our success when we were in person. And we tried to replicate that in a way while doing the COVID-19 distance learning. Now, it's funny because we'll try and take that back. You know, we're hoping to get into some in-person instruction in the spring. And when we do, we're going to make sure that we have the ability to continue with that one-on-one time with our students because we found it to be so successful and vital for our students. And it's something we're definitely going to continue as we get back into action, if we can, back with students in the spring. So I'm going to turn it back over to Teri to wrap up our session.
Hi, this is Craig again. I'll jump in until Teri is able to rejoin us. So I want to thank everybody for participating in the session
I am
tonight.
here. Sorry, Craig.
Oh,
I just
hi,
got
Teri.
it unmuted. I'm sorry.
There you are. Hi, Teri.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just trying to unmute and I was hitting the wrong button. Would you like me just to end part, to do the last part, or because there's no
Go ahead.
questions yet?
Go ahead, finish up.
Okay. And then, so there was I was trying to do the chat box. No, nothing. This is amazing. We got one nice little comment. I did want to just quickly say, first of all, we are more than appreciative of all of you who are showing interest in what needs to happen to break the barriers for all of our students that are really struggling in schools by addressing the needs that they have. And the thing about us is, for example, in the very beginning when we opened the dorm, I had this idea to say, you know what, basically the kids that come into our school, they need to be in our school before they come into the dorm so that they can get an idea about whether or not this is something they want. That's changed for me. I interviewed a young man about 2 weeks ago. He's now in our dorm. He came to see us, and we have our back in our garden outside of our dorm set up so that I can still continue to do interviews because nothing really stops us from what we're doing. And I interviewed him and moved him in because that's what he needed. Before I moved him in, obviously, we had to get together quickly, go get him a COVID test, have him come in, wear a mask until we got the results of the COVID. But the fact of the matter is that whatever needs to happen, we are going to do it, whether that's on a Saturday and our administrator needs to come in to, get all the paperwork ready for an incoming dorm student or whatever it is. And for me, that the dorm is a demonstration project. It's interesting because the whole developer of Treasure Island, as Craig was describing, kind of everything that we've been doing day and night to just have more students that we can help, that we can offer living and great access to great education, academics, etc. The developer of Treasure Island was at our ribbon cutting when we opened the dorm. And I got to meet him and I said to him, well, yeah, he goes, this is really beautiful. I said, I know, it's really nice, but myself and Craig Miller are going to be calling you because this is just the beginning. We are a model of how to re-engage students who need a community. That's what we do. And so that's the effort that we have undertaken all during this last year to continue to do more, build a new school so we can take in 100 students and build at least 3 more dorms. So I just wanted to say that.
You're certainly not shy about your aspirations and your commitment. That's clear. I was deeply appreciated how Craig jumped in when you were having trouble with the mute, and it's such a wonderful demonstration of how you all work as a team. And I wondered, there have been a couple of questions in the question, it's been in the chat, so I don't know that you could see them. And one of them was, what are some of the leadership skills and processes that you've been able to develop and keep over the 20 years? Because clearly, as you said earlier, you don't sit still. And so what has kept you all going?
Teri, you want me to start?
Sure.
Sure. I mean, I think, one thing, Teri said it, but I'll highlight it again. We have a leader, our executive director, Teri, who's, approximate leader. She's someone who has experienced the lives of the kids we serve. And so, that leadership, and her experience keeps life learning laser focused on why we do what we do, which was we need to meet the kids' needs, what the kids need, and help them transform their lives. And I think that's a critical piece to our leadership structure. But our leadership structure, is we're all people who love teenagers at our core. And so we show up to do this work with joy every day, and the kids know it. And then, as I kind of highlighted in my presentation, we're not afraid to ask ourselves tough questions, and we're not afraid to put resources towards growth and change and take risks. Opening a dorm, for teenagers who have nowhere else to go, there isn't anything else like that out there, right? A public school that offers no fee housing, there's risks in running it. There's obviously financial risk. There's need for huge infrastructure to support that work. And we're not an organization that is scared off by those kind of obstacles if it's what our kids need.
Well said. Jamal, would you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that, one of the things that Teri mentioned and Craig both mentioned, it's unafraid of taking risks and being willing to make changes that we need to help serve our students. That's the bottom line. And it doesn't matter. We don't get hung up on the processes. I think the story Teri told you about, what we thought was going to be the process for getting into the dorm is a great illustrator of that, is that when things change. And we don't let a policy stand in the way or become another barrier for our students. We adjust and make sure to meet their needs in whatever way we need to. And I think that's an amazing leadership skill that Teri has and the team, and really just brings it all home for our students and makes it so that we're able to be a responsive organization that meets our kids' needs, even though they change and are different for every student.
Well said. I think you guys demonstrate clearly that leadership matters, and lived experience, which has been sort of a theme throughout the day, is so critically important to inform the right activities and the right goals, and then the wherewithal to follow it up. We've got a minute or two left, and I'm wondering if people have more questions for you, can they get in touch with you? And are there some resources or tools that you've used that would be that you would make available for other jurisdictions? There are a couple of people that have sort of said, how do we do this? And so I'm wondering if you've been able to articulate some of that.
Sure. We would love to talk with anybody and everybody who's interested in what we do. And we enthusiastically share resources, work with people, invite people to our campus for training opportunities when we can. And so, I'll put my contact information in the chat. Again, it's Craig Miller, and my email is cmiller@llasf.org. Please reach out to me directly. Actually, Steve, if you can put that in the chat for me, cmiller@llasf.org, and we would love to connect with anybody who wants to learn more.
We never get tired of talking about our students and what we do. And our students are always happy to talk too. So We thank you so
Wonderful.
much for taking the time to do this today.
This was great in a beautiful way. And so we're now going to have a few minutes of a break, and then we will begin at 11:45 with Will Lightbourne from the Department of Healthcare Services. And again, on behalf of everybody, thank you. I'm so glad that LLA is available and a model. Reminds me a lot of the door when I worked at it way back when. It was the same kind of approach. So bravo.
Love it. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Be well.
everybody.
Bye.
All right. Bye.